switch me on.
With plans of Ecto-1 playing a large role in Ghostbusters Afterlife but appearing run down and forgotten, production needed a replacement car or two to portray the Ghostbusters' original Cadillac, since they would not want to weather and abuse the first movie's hero car, which had been restored leading up to the Ghostbusters' 25th anniversary and video game release in 2009. The star car from Ghostbusters 2, Ecto-1A, had spent time pleasing fans at Universal Studios Florida following its 1989 debut, but eventually landed on a Sony lot wasting away in the sun before it was used as a donor car for the aforementioned Ecto-1 restoration. Although fan petitions to restore Ecto-1A failed, the car was a perfect candidate to step in as one of the two Hero Ecto-1s for Ghostbusters Afterlife, along with another 1959 Cadillac Miller Meteor Sony purchased for the new film. The cars were simultaneously stripped, restored, painted, and weathered. Though the cars were weathered almost identically so they could be used interchangeably in the film, there is enough subtle variation that each can be pretty easily identified after some careful study. Many fans have wondered how much our beloved Ecto-1A actually appears on screen in Afterlife. The goal of this video is to show you some details to look for to be able to tell the cars apart, then consult screen caps from the movie itself to see how often each car appears and in which scenes they appear. Let's begin with one detail that will help us get the ball rolling in differentiating the two vehicles. One of the differences between Ecto-1 and Ecto-1A in Ghostbusters 2 was the addition of an amber light mounted to the lower driver's side front bumper. This light would have to be removed to properly redress the car as Ecto-1, but even though the light was taken off, the scar of the light's bracket can still be seen on the bumper. It's important to note here that the car newly purchased for Afterlife came with its own bumper with no blemishes in the same area as the light bracket from Ecto-1A. I'm making the assumption that during the teardown and rebuild process, each car had its original bumper returned to it, and they were not swapped. I don't know that for sure, but it's my assumption. Going forward, I'm going to label the car with the scarred bumper as Hero 1 and the other as Hero 2. I believe Hero 1 is the former Ecto-1A, but there's a small chance that it isn't, so I don't want to label it as Ecto-1A throughout this video without knowing that for sure. Also note that I'm only focusing on the exterior details and shots of each car, and for that reason the Ecto-Buck vehicle that was cut into sections for interior shots will not be a part of this video. Starting with the bumper detail, I'm going to be showing you around each car and linking identifying details together, mostly using reference pictures from the Ghostbusters reference library on Facebook. After taking a lap around each car, we will use those details to identify the two hero cars in screen caps of Ghostbusters Afterlife that I found on capthat.com. Let's get started. Hero 1 with the scarred bumper has rust following the edge of the wheel well on the front driver's side fender. Hero 2 also has rust in this area, but there is a bit that juts upward that makes it stand out easily. Hero 1 has rust and dirt along the bottom edge of the rear driver's side door, but Hero 2 has more and in thicker amounts. During the Muncher chase scenes, Hero 1 has a thick area of dirt along the top of the driver's side rear window. This dirty spot is not as noticeable in other parts of the movie and not present on Hero 2 at all. As we swing around to the back door, each car has rusty spots near the keyhole. Hero 1 has spots just to the right of the keyhole, while Hero 2 has spots below the keyhole. On the passenger side rear quarter panel, Hero 1 has dirt or rust that extends from the tire to the rear of the car in a stair-step pattern. Hero 2 has dirt or rust in the same area, but in a straight horizontal line. The gunner seat door trim on Hero 1 does not line up at the top with the trim on the front door. Hero 2's doors line up as one would expect them to. The front door keyhole on Hero 1 has a specific shape of rust with a thin horizontal line pointing toward the front of the car. Hero 2 also has a rusty spot, but the line extending to the right is thicker. Hero 1 has a bit of a gap where the front passenger door meets the bottom of the front windshield. Hero 2 has no gap. On the front passenger fender, where the wheel well meets the front bumper, Hero 1 has a spot of rust encircling a triangle-shaped area of white paint. Hero 2 has rust in the same spot, but with no white spot inside. Coming back around to the front of the cars, Hero 1 has a broken lower light on the bumper, the outermost on the passenger side. Hero 2 also has a broken light, but it's the innermost one on the passenger side. I'm sure there are plenty of other details we could compare, but this is enough to identify the cars for the majority of the film. Now, let's move on to the screen caps. Please note that I've chosen to exclude some shots that were repetitive, too blurry, too close up, or otherwise inconclusive. When Trevor first finds Ecto-1 in the dark, the scratches in the vinyl logo match reference pictures of Hero 1, as well as another confirmed Hero 1 shot later in the film. When Trevor cuts the tarp off of the car, we can identify it as Hero 1 by the front driver's side fender rust pattern. When Trevor is trying to start the car, the gap between the windshield and front passenger door can be seen, making it Hero 1. As Trevor drives through the field, Hero 2 is seen from the passenger side, as evidenced by the lack of a gap between the windshield and the door. Also notice the curious omission of the passenger mirror and antenna in this shot. As the car drifts through the field, there is a wide shot, then a lower, closer shot. Each shot is of Hero 1, citing the back door keyhole and front fender rust patterns. Again, we see a lower passenger side view of the car, this being Hero 2, again with no gap between the windshield and door, and the gunner seat door trim is aligned properly with the front door. The antenna reappears here. A close-up of the rear door clearly shows the Hero 1 keyhole rust pattern. The jump is CGI, so I'll skip those shots. As Trevor drives toward Phoebe and Podcast, the Hero 2 passenger rear quarter panel rust pattern can be seen, along with the correct door trim alignment. The shot as he pulls up to them reveals the Hero 2 back door keyhole rust pattern in the dust cloud. As they drive down the dirt road and then past the grain elevator, we get the first glimpse of the dirt along the top of the rear driver's side window, making it Hero 1. When they arrive in town hunting Muncher, the Hero 1 rust pattern can be seen on the rear passenger quarter panel. As they pass the trash cans, Hero 1 details are seen above the rear window and on the front fender. Stopping to see Muncher, Hero 1 front fender rust can be seen in the foreground. When Phoebe comes out of the gunner seat door, the front passenger keyhole rust pattern of Hero 1 is present. Viewing from the front, the outermost bottom light is broken, so it's Hero 1. When Podcast says it has a gunner seat, the Hero 1 front door keyhole rust is clearly seen. It appears the bracket scar is seen when they drive past the hydrant, making it Hero 1. For the close-up of the logo getting washed on the door, it appears they may have used the same vinyl logo with scratches printed on it, because the scratches match both cars, but the keyhole rust matches Hero 2. When Phoebe is aiming at Muncher, the Hero 1 passenger keyhole rust is seen. Following from behind, the Hero 1 passenger quarter panel and rear door keyhole rust is present. When they swerve to avoid Muncher firing at them, Hero 2's front fender and door rust patterns are there. It's hard to see in this screen grab, but I checked it on the Blu-ray. As they corner past the Chinese restaurant, Hero 1's white triangle in the front fender and quarter panel rust give it away. With the RTV in the foreground, we can spot Hero 2's broken light. When Phoebe wrangles Muncher, the gap between the door and windshield of Hero 1 appears to be there. When they take the hard left corner, first from the rear view, we can see Hero 1's rear door keyhole and quarter panel rust. Switching to the front view, it's hard to tell from the screen grabs, but I confirmed Hero 1's broken bumper light and bracket scar watching it frame by frame on the Blu-ray. In this low shot with the RTV in the foreground, again we see the Hero 1 bumper scar. When they swerve to avoid the pickup truck, we see Hero 1 from the front, again with the scar as evidence. The angle changes to the rear when the pickup explodes, but it's still Hero 1 judging by the backdoor keyhole rust pattern. Hero 1's backdoor keyhole and quarter panel rust are there as the camera follows the car into a skid to a stop. Continuing to skid from the front and driver's side view, the Hero 1 front fender rust is there. Hero 2 finally gets more action as they chase Muncher toward the bridge, with the backdoor keyhole rust pattern visible when they pass the bridge out sign. The bumper close-up shows Hero 1's bracket scar and broken outside light. When Phoebe extends the gunner seat back out, the passenger door keyhole rust of Hero 1 is there, and it matches this behind-the-scenes shot of the car being filmed on a green screen. It's back to Hero 2 when Phoebe retreats inside to avoid hitting the bridge, with the rear quarter panel rust pattern clearly shown. The bumper close-up on the bridge shows no scar and the innermost light is broken, so it's still Hero 2. Another close-up shows Hero 2's proper door alignment. When they go into a drift after coming off the bridge, we can see the Hero 2 door alignment and no white triangle on the front fender rust. The next shot is hard to see because of the dust cloud, but I believe we can see the Hero 1 front fender rust pattern, and it matches this reference photo. Although it's dark and from a wide angle, when the sheriff pulls them over, it appears the Hero 1 front fender rust is visible. The outermost light is out, which might also point to it being Hero 1, but later in the movie, that same cracked light is illuminated. When they go get their gear at the police station, the Hero 2 is on the lift with a clear shot of the back door keyhole rust. As the door opens, revealing the license plate close-up, Hero 2's innermost broken light and no bracket scar are there. We see Hero 1 from almost every angle as it exits the station, with the door misalignment and quarter panel, back door keyhole, and front fender rust patterns. Hero 2 is the car driving toward the mountain, evidenced by the back door keyhole and quarter panel rust, as well as the proper door trim alignment. When they swing around to rescue Callie at the temple, we see Hero 1 from the front with a broken outermost light, illuminated this time. As they shut the back door, there is another clear shot of the Hero 1 keyhole rust pattern and the vinyl logo scratches that match the shot in the barn reveal. Hero 1 is spotted driving to the bridge with the front fender rust pattern and dirt above the back window. When they drift by Spinners, we see Hero 1's front fender rust, door misalignment, and rear quarter panel rust pattern. When they are coming in hot and turning into the farmhouse driveway, the Hero 1 door misalignment stands out. The finale was filmed on a soundstage, and I believe Hero 1 was the only car used in these shots. First, we see them getting out of the back door, and we can kind of see the back door keyhole rust pattern, and it matches this clearer behind-the-scenes shot. There's a wide angle of Trevor popping out in the gunner seat, and Hero 1's rust with the white triangle on the front fender is visible. The rear quarter panel rust matches as well. In Trevor's close-up, Hero 1's back door keyhole rust can be seen behind him. In just about every shot when the Ghostbusters arrive, the Hero 1's white triangle on the front fender is there. Finally, in the post-credits scene when Winston is waving the Ecto-1 back into the firehouse, the car on the set is Hero 2. It's hard to see in this screen grab, but behind-the-scenes photos taken the day they filmed the scene at the Los Angeles firehouse confirm it is Hero 2, most notably by the back door keyhole rust, rear quarter panel rust, and properly aligned door trim on the passenger side. And while we're at it, here's a few more bonus identifications. Hero 1 was the car on display at the wrap party. Since Afterlife's release, it has made stops at the Ghost Corps office at Sony, Randy's Donuts, and the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Hero 2 was the car that Adam Savage got to drive when he visited the set during production. It was on the red carpet during the premiere of Ghostbusters Afterlife in New York. In conclusion, while both cars should be revered as screen-used Ectomobiles, fans of the once-forgotten Ecto-1A can be pretty confident that, as long as those bumpers weren't swapped, she not only appeared in Ghostbusters Afterlife, she led in screen time by a wide margin. Thank you for watching.